Welcome back, online viewers and listeners. We are now on another episode of Capricorn, a podcast where we talk all things in journalism. So, i-expect natin na explore tayo ng mga tea about journalism. So, this is Iris Altabano from PUP Journalism, your host for this episode. At nandito pa rin tayo sa Silingan at Cubao Expo for our 5th episode. Grabe, di ba? 5th episode na tayo. So, ayan, of course, I would like to express our thanks to Silingan Coffee and the respond and break the silence against the killings. So, thank you for allowing us to use this venue as the newest house of Capricorn. So, if you want to experience what it's like to film here, you can reach the Silingan Coffee for further information. So, I'll see you guys here, okay? So, ayan. So, ayan, I am sure you guys are so much excited kung sino ba talaga yung guest natin for this episode. So, hindi ko na talaga, wala kayo pa! Okay. Ayan, so, our speaker today is a news editor and human rights defender at Manila Today, an alternative media outlet that focusing on marginalized sectors in Metro Manila. He also served as the 2020 regional coordinator of the College Editors Guild of the Philippines NCR chapter. So let's give a warm welcome to Mix Roy Barbosa. And thank you so much for, accepting our invitation. Kahit, alam mo naman sa busy niyo po.
Oo, katapos ng Independence Day.
Oh, yeah.
Tapos, impeachment trial ba ni Sara Duterte na nag-blood?
Kumusta ka Mix Roy? Like, how you been like, how are you doing lately po ba?
Okay naman. Nakakatawa na may mga volunteers and interns na nag-apply na for Mandalay. Kasi doon naman din ang buhay. Yung mga alternative media outfits like yun, have to juggle with the internships, with the volunteers along with our work at the publish reports. Yeah, yun.
Yes. To those who doesn't know, actually, I'm part of the volunteer program of Manila Today. So, yung mga ginagawa ng article, dumadaan talaga kay Miss Roy. Grabe, ang super hardworking naman.
Parang di ko dumadaan sa akin. Yan ah.
Okay. So, siyempre po, like news editor na po tayo sa Manila Today. How long na po ba kayo working sa Manila Today?
Okay, I started before, nagsimula ako ng volunteer. Dahil I was a regional coordinator for College Editors Guild of Philippines NCR. I work on stories focusing on youth. So, say for instance, their demands and complaints, halimbawa, by RLC, about issues concerning academic freedom, and what better way to report it not just within our guild, and meron ding platform within ng Manila. So, that was in 2019 when I started contributing for Manila Day, and eventually I became a full-time journalist working there, and then I became a news editor.
Grabe naman ang ma-experience ni Mix Roy. But before that, I would like to introduce our topic muna. So, our topic today and today's episode is online harassment faced by journalists. So, in the field of journalists talaga, very unavoidable yung situation na may it be from the environment or from the people they speak to, which tends to leave a traumatic impression. So, we will discuss the challenges that journalists or media practitioners face in digital world and how it affects them, especially in today's era where almost everyone is online. So ayun, but before we really go deep into the conversation, I am sure na curious ang ating audience about the story and journey of our Mix Roy Barbosa, of course. So, where did you start working as a journalist po? When did you start working as a
I started working as a journalist? Probably when I was a student. Parang I didn't actually aim to become a journalist. It started with my love for reading and niche. Actually, I call it a niche opportunity for me Kasi I started contributing as literary works for my publication back in college. Then what began as like a sport to me nung may usapin ng tuition hike. Dahil nag-aaral ko sa private school, mayroong tuition hike. So, yearly lang, most of our reports would focus on, parang state news na, parang sabihin lang nila, okay, magtataas ng matrikula, ito yung schedule mo, ito yung batayan, 2010, ganyan, yada. I see to it na dapat may effect, dapat maunawaan ng mga estudyante. Dahil post na siya tinatawag ko and that became a personal activist. So I made an investigative view or an interpretive article about it, focusing on the perspectives of students with regard to the tuition fee increase. And it gained traction among the students and with the professors as well. So mula doon, nag-translate na siya kasi what is happening in the school mirrors the reality outside. So yung nakukuha kong comments from the admin, from the teachers, from some of the students would also reflect or mirror onto what is happening outside. Kasi kung tinatanong ako kung kailan ako nagsimula being a professional journalist, I cannot say I'm a professional yet because I am still learning. Whenever people would ask me kung nag-aaral pa ba? Kasi I did not graduate. I did not graduate college. It was in pandemic na graduating na ako. But I had to pursue my mental health. I had to attend to my needs, lalo na kasagsagan yung pandemic, talagang malala yung economic precarity. Diba? Maraming nawalan ng trabaho, yung tatay nawalan ng trabaho. Inisip ko magtatrabaho pa ako nun. Pero hindi, mas pinili kong magulat tungkol sa kalagayan ng bansa, lalo na sa pandemya. At apektado rin ako bilang estudyante na ilang kapag-focus. Is it my choice? Yes. But now, is it still my choice? Yes. I still choose to be the voice and to write for the people. So, dun siya. That's when I started focusing on writing. I think that was it 2020.
So, parang yung pagsusulat niyo po ba talaga is passion niyo po talaga yung pag-report?
Passion. Mas yung passion ko siguro, it's I think it's just a side story, para isang lang siya, isang bahagi. What really excites me the most is when I get to integrate and interact with the people or the subject. Diba parang may sinasabi sa atin sa mga journalists, kailangan mo ligawan audience mo so that you can get the neatest story. Pero sa bahagi namin, kasi not just you making the ligaw. Pero not just you doing that, parang in a way, maging komportable. Diba ginagawa? So, siya, struggle din siya. Siyempre, sa isang bahagi nito, yung forma ng pagkatanong din natin, in a way, will also enlighten their minds. Pero beyond that, it's a way for them to also act. So yun yung ginagawa namin, yun yung tungkulin ng Manila Today and other alternative media, na it's not wrong at all to be biased. We all have our personal biases. May confirmation bias tayo. So, kapag may mga against talaga sa story na sinusulat natin, talagang sige na yan. Yeah, ganun siya.
And, in your journey po ba, Miss Roy, parang, may mga challenges po ba tayong pinakalap, like, sa environment natin, your family pa is supporting na bilang journalist po tayo.
Yun, I would not, hindi ko pwedeng itanggi at hindi ko may tatanggi na hindi ako aktivista. Ako ay isang aktivista. Nagsimula ako bilang student activist nung ako ay kabatang estudyante pa nung nag-aaral sa kolehiyo. Kaya rin ang mga sinusulat ko ay vertical. hindi palaging target ang gobyerno, kundi pag-demand ng accountability doon sa mga kakapusan, kakulangan, at kung ano pa yung pangangailangan ng interes ng kabataan estudyante.
So, di ba po ang dami na talaga na-reach ng Manila today. Like, they have 101K followers on Facebook. So, di ba, parang every post naman, di ba, parang may mga nakita rin po tayo mga hate comments about, like personally po, how do you manage that kind of comments po? Or then, bend mo na lang po talaga?
Sa yung unang report ko kasi sa Manila Today na talagang biglang nag-boom was, it's a coverage during the pandemic na nagkaroon ng mass up sa Ayala Business Center. Then nagkaroon sa Ayala.
Yeah, straight cat.
Yeah, tapos, dahil mga kabataan, nagkaroon pa sa state protest ng mga students and youth sector. So, yun yung unang report ko, just a photo and the caption. And it gained traction, probably more like thousands, tapos marami rin comments. Usually, yung trend na yun sa Manila Today, when we report, and not just, I think, but palagi ko hilam din kami, when we report stories concerning the Duterte, daming rules. When we are being critical to the Duterte administration, former Duterte administration, especially with the ongoing talks or issue about the conviction, the immediate conviction, the urging for the Senate groups urging for the Senate to convict Sara Duterte. Even in the ICC issue. Yeah. So, pandemic yun doon talaga siguro din talaga nag-boom yung followers and reach ng Manila Today. Most especially yung napoproduce namin na cartoons. Because, hard-hitting siya. More so yung mga in-depth stories din talaga namin. Kasi, we strive to produce interpretive stories na nakafocus dun talaga sa narratives and perspectives.
So, with that kind of experience, do you think that social media is helpful or detrimental for journalists? And what ways?
There are pros and cons, but I would like to emphasize the pros. Hindi naman din tayo against sa modernization. In the same way with the ongoing issue about the PUV modernization program. Eventually, dahil ang panawagan naman natin ay magkaroon ng mas mahusay na public transportation. For sure. But yung demand ngayon ng city drivers is to promote local industrialization, support local industries for them to modernize. They're not against modernization. In the same way with us, na mayroon ng digital crossover. Diba? Ngayon pa nga lang na parang may bangga ang Netflix, isang between the text and the video. Diba? Most especially, yung mga, we also accommodate those of the people who would wish to just scroll onto their phones and news. So, we adapt to that. Yun yung audience nandun yung target audience natin, and we have to reach them.
Yeah. So, that experience po, dami naman ang experience mo, Miss Joy. So, parang, with that kind of experience po, parang, may nagbago po ba the way you write story, parang approach nyo ba? Parang nagbago po ba yung approach nyo?
Okay. Nagbago siya siguro mas nag-enhance lang din. Halimbawa, ito nga, yung usapin mismo ng let's talk about the demand for the conviction of Sara Duterte. So, of course, maraming nag-push, maraming nag-demand. Schools, church, different groups. Sa amin, sa pagin namin as a community journalist, I would want to explore kung ano yung perspective din talaga ng mga, halimbawa, as comunidad. yung mga HOA, owner associations, iba't ibang mga student publications, ano yung stand nila, student councils, ano yung stand nila. Kumbaga, these sectors, kasi kinakailangan na makuha yung yung pagtingin mismo ng isang grupo, ng isang organisasyon, at syempre yung sector na nire-representa nila. At bukod din doon, ano rin ba syempre yung tulak din sa kanila? Bakit yun yung kanilang, bakit yun yung kanilang demand? Kung sila mismo yung gagastos ng 125 million o more than 600 million na winaldas ni Sara Duterte, diba? Para sa kanyang confidential intelligence funds, diba? Ang madalas na sinasabi, ang nakala ko ay kung ginastos na lang ito para sa mga social services, lalo na sa usapin ng biruin sa Duterte ay naging kalihim pa ng pag-gawa ng education. Pero nagpapatuloy at malala pa rin yung usapin ng education crisis. Diba? Kaya, mas yun eh. Yun yung mas analytical. Pag sinabing analytical and in-depth, mas ganun namin tinitingnan yung paghahabi ng story. Sabi nga natin, even journalists, of course, dahil nga may mga personal biases, meron tayo way how do we view or how do we tell a story from our article. I recently produced a story about mandatory ROTC and I called it torture. Kasi hindi lang siya mental torture but also sa economic injustice, gender-based discrimination, and the culture of shame and impunity is very much in there, in that role. So it's just one story pa lang, but there are many profiles like Dio experiencing such horrendous experience kasi yun siya, di ba?
I would not say, may nagbago naman. May nagbago talaga. Kasi mas nagano pa siya, mas nag-enhance, lalo na mas nakafocus talaga siya dun sa story, sa narrative talaga ng iba't ibang mga sektor na inuulat ko. Sabi ko nga, maaaring yung balita na to o yung mga naisulat ko ay nakalagay lang o ako ang nagsulat. Pero ito ay mga storya nila. Ang tawag ko nga sa amin ay kami ang medyang bayan, people's media. Yan. Dahil, syempre, yung madalas na inuulat namin o yung kalakhan sa mga sinusulat talaga namin ay integrative doon sa danas ng mamamayan. Hindi siya palagi, syempre, yung inaapi, ganyan. Pero, syempre, we emphasize the stories of the marginalized. Kasi, just think about it. It makes the whole population of the Philippines. Every time nga may election, palaging bukang bibig, mahirap, ganyan. So, laging gamit na lang palagi yung mahirap. So, meaning, acknowledge natin na may ganun. Pero, kapag ina-address natin yung mismong solutions-based story na bakit nga ba may mahirap, bakit nagpapatuloy pa rin yung poverty, yung corruption, di kami yung nag-uulat nun.
Yeah. What do you wish po na you had learned before becoming a journalist po?
Ano bang winish ko? Dati akala ko noon kailangan ko ng diploma.
Oh, ako din.
Oo, dati akala ko noon bago ako maging journalist or basta parang kailangan ko ng diploma, kailangan ko ng academic achievement. That's one naman din. Pangangailangan din naman yan. Lalo na sa lipunan natin na grabe yung anong tawag dito? Nagiging limitation na kapag wala kang ganito. Pero mas makabuluhan pa rin syempre yung karanasan at yung pinanday na mismo ng karanasan na yon. So, I think kung ano man yung paghahanda ko pa sana, and then overcome ko na siya eh. Kasi before, sabi ko na, kailangan ko ba makapagtapos kasi huling sem na lang eh, mag-field na ako eh. Pero mas pinili kong magulat sa kalagayan ng mamamayan ng iba't ibang sektor kasi nagagamit ko yung skill ko. Sabi ko nga, nagsimula ako bilang student journalist. hindi lang para magulat pala tungkol sa kalagayan ng mga estudyante, kundi sa iba't ibang kalagayan din ng mga estudyante. Estudyanteng bakla, estudyanteng manggagawa, estudyanteng kababaihan, na meron silang mga particular stories.
Yeah.
At ganun din kapag lumabas ka na, nung nagsimula na ako bilang correspondent at eventually editor ng Manila Today. So, marami talagang mga kinakailangan pa natin pagtuunan ng pansin.
So, from that experience po ba, what are the things na natutunan niyo po ba? Like, or kahit nung na-harass po tayo, ano yung mga naging, parang mga takeaways niyo po sa mga ganung bagay?
Magpatuloy lang.
Yeah.
Magpatuloy. Tapos, yung kahalagahan din syempre ng matibay na pundasyon ng organisasyon tulad namin sa Manila Today, na lagi din kami nagkakaroon ng check-ups, ng debriefing, at paghahanda. So, syempre, yung mga ganong bagay, hindi mo naman din yun kontrolado kung ano man yung mga mangyayari. Pero aware tayo sa mga possible worst case scenarios. Diba? Halimbawa, when we are covering protests, tignan na natin kung tatanawin na natin yung mga bagay na maaaring mangyari. Kasi, of course, we've experienced a lot during our coverage from just protest, yung maaresto, makaladkad, masagasaan, alam mo yan, mga ganong bagay. So, we have these, natanaw na namin ito sa mga pagkaplano din namin at kung paano siya may iwasan at maagap na tutugunan, yun na inapag-uusapan na. So, ganun lang din, magkapatuloy lang din sa ganun para kasi not every, yung mga ganung bagay, may mga kaakibat na, tawag dyan, it's, nakaranasan o mga learning experiences.
So, as a journalism student po ngayon, syempre mga in the future mga alagad ng media. So, is there any particular things that you wanted to share with us or to the future journalists to watch out for online spaces po?
Online spaces, AI. Okay, let's talk about AI. Daming galit sa AI, no?
Yeah.
Daming galit sa parang kasi daw it would limit the human or journalists with their job. Well, technically, there are studies. Abot na nga sa 83% eh. Parang nasabi doon, with the emergence of artificial intelligence, in 20 years from now, parang masasaklaw na niya yung 83% work ng journalists. So parang, syempre yung mga journalists bothered na.
Nababother sila.
Bakit pa ako nagpo-pursue ng ganitong profesyon? Sabi ko nga, hindi naman ako yayaman sa ganitong profesyon. Sabi ng nanay ko, hindi ako yayaman sa ganitong profesyon. Hindi naman ako si Cara David, hindi naman ako si Jessica Soho, ganyan-ganyan. Pero now with the emergence of AI, parang ganyan, no? But, just, parang yun nga, yung nabanggit ko kanina parang analogy, comparing and contrasting to the current situation na kinakailangan nating mag-modernize, kinakailangan natin pakitunguhan kung ano yung nariyan. Nandiyan na yung AI eh.
Yeah.
So, sabi ko nga, kinakailangan natin malaman, sino ba yung kung may kakayahan din tayong mag-industrialize o gumawa ng mismong mag-develop ng sarili din natin, most especially kung ito ay talagang para sa benefit ng ginagawa natin at pag-uulat particular sa interes ng taong bayan, hindi naman na natin to sana dapat ikamuhian.
Yeah.
Kasi kung tutuusin, simulat sa pool naman din, nandiyan na yung AI eh. When we go to Google, yung prompts doon, yun na yun, AI na yun. So, even sa phone, kapag nag-type tayo, biglang mga suggestive texts, AI na yun. So, parang bakit naman sa AI sobrang galit na galit doon just because nag-advance pa siya ng husto at kaya na makapagbuo ng article. Diba? It could help journalists to refine some of their works if they needed to refine some. Pero, of course, nandiyan pa din yung human element eh. Nandiyan pa rin yung tao na nagbibigay ng nagtutulak ko ano ba yung kinakailangan niyang gawin. So, kumbaga, with online spaces, yan nga, Yung harassment, nandiyan na yan. Paano natin yun papakitunguhan? Hindi importante yung pagkakaroon pa rin ng collective, ng group. At the same time, yung networks and peers, supporters natin, most especially sa amin, sa bahagi na ng alternative media, we have Alter Media, we have National Union of Journalists of the Philippines. Nung student journalist ako, nandiyan yung College Editors Guild of the Philippines and some of organizations. So, importante yun. Hindi masama na lumahok sa mga ganito organisasyon habang nagpapatuloy. Kaya habang nagpapatuloy yung red tagging, patuloy din natin siyang kondenahin. Kasi hindi lang din yun sa atin na nag-uulat o gumagampan ng trabaho din natin, kahit yung ordinaryong mamamayan na nagpapahayag lang ng kanilang suggestion or opinion.
So, what advice po na maibibigay niyo po sa mga future journalists when responding to online threats po? Is there a course of action that you can share with us po ba? Like mga action na pwedeng gawin ng mga journalists when na-attack sila online?
Madami.
Yan.
Hindi mag-report talaga. Halimbawa, sa ganyan, better na informed. Marami kasi, pag sinabing student journalist,
sila, no?
Pwedeng, yung student journalist ba yun ay member na ng publication, hindi pwedeng i-report yun sa publication para magkaroon talaga ng isang statement na. And eventually, it can go to CGP, then makakapagbuo na siya ng database ng report. At the same time, kinakailangan din syempre kasi talaga ng group, ng support group, para matugunan ano yung pangangailangan. Syempre, mamaya naka-state in shock pa, trauma, tapos tinatanggal lang and all. Kasi kahit sa akin nagkaroon ng effect yung mga ganong online harassment that I received. Not just, last year kasi even before yung nangyari nga sa co-editor ko na naaresto. Of course, yung chilling effect nun, we've received several death threats, messages as well. Both text message and online. So, kumbaga, hindi ako gumamit ng Facebook noon, just the Meta Business Suite. Yung mga page, para lang makakapag-update ako sa page namin. Yun lang, but Facebook, yung wala ko nun. Ngayon lang ako parang, hoy, ganun lang. Kasi I overcame. Pero, ganun yung naging effect din sa akin nun. Yung lang din, syempre, yung tulak lang din syempre sa mga journalists ay, of course, yung pagiging open sa vulnerability at yung pagiging bukas sa support mechanisms tulad ng mga organizations nga, ng family, friends, ganyan. At syempre, pag-emphasize sa mga student journalists na kung alam naman nila na tama yung ginagawa nila, lalo na nag-uulat sila tungkol sa kalagayan at interest ng sinusulat nila, ng sektor na sinusulat nila, wala nga masama. So, gano'n.
Ako personally talaga, natatakot ako like yung mga online attacks. So, kaya,
Have you been tagged?
Ay, hindi pa po. Tsaka ayaw ko mangyari yun. So, syempre, ang dami kong natutunan ngayon, like,
sige nga. One. Okay.
Ang dami kong natutunan talaga at na-realize ngayon. So, it's just a short time. So, thank you so much for everything that you have shared with us so far, Mix Roy. I absolutely agree with what you said in social media. It's so really easy to attack and bully someone without being held accountable. But sadly, journalists is very prone talaga dito. So, that's the really harsh reality ng mga journalists So, to lighten the mood, you guys already know what is maglalaro tayo ngayon. So, ano kayang laro, Mix Roy? Meron ka na bang idea what are we gonna play right now? Wala.
Ano pa?
Ayan, so Mix Roy, I will just show you some clips or headlines that left such an impression on us that we think you may have some thoughts as well. And magre-react lang po kayo using 3 to 5 words only.
Okay.
So, ayan. First clip is this one. Let me volume up. What
Saan ako mag-react? Kay Marie Sumali o
sa video po, sa clips
sa
na.
video?
Yeah.
Totoo naman. Joke lang. Totoo naman. Hindi na kailangan itanggi nga. Dami ko sinabi. Hindi na kasi kailangan itanggi na bias tayo. Pero yung intent nila, intent na point out, syempre, sa form of gender-based harassment, ganyan.
And for our second is this one.
CA affirms civil liable conviction of representing as an ex-writer. Chilling effect. Yan.
Ayan.
It's a chilling effects.
Ayan, grabe naman si Mix Roy. Ang galing-galing.
Yes, galing. Sige nga, ano yung sumunod?
Ay ako, blip na lang yun. Ayan. For the last one is... Ayan. Sinabihan ulit yung baya.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, we are here to sympathize. We're from down to Germany and
Okay, sige. These are just 3 videos.
Yes po.
Okay. Ano yan? Women journalists facing gender-based discrimination just because of their reports. So, ano yan? Yun nga, sabi ko, it has a chilling effect, not just to women journals, but also the ones being critical of their reports.
So, ayan, ginaganon lang tayo ni Mix Roy. Grabe, ang galing. Ayan. Thank you so much po, Mix Roy, for sharing your insights, your struggles, and experience with us today. It has been super wonderful with you today. Super legit. Ayan, thank you so much talaga, Mix Roy, for in accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
We're super I can't say any words, pero super na-enjoy ko tong episode na to. Kasi nagkita na din tayo. And of course, the Cup of Jorn is may inihanda for you, of course.
Ano naman yan?
Gusto ko makita yung reaction ni Mix Roy. So, ayan, thank you so much po.
Thank you so much.
Ayan. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So this is Aris Altobano again, and this is the Cup of Jorn.
Thank you.